Hello and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, taking a Cessna 172 across the world from Australia to the UK, and today we are starting off in Indonesia. This is as far as we've gotten, and we are making our way across the islands all the way to Malaysia. It's a double header. Our first flight is to Sepinggan from Hasanuddin, where we ended up last time, or also known as interestingly, I'm using FSEconomy as well, and that's how I'm taking this plane across and keeping track of my flight. On FSEconomy, it's misspelled as Whiskey Romeo Lima Lima as opposed to Whiskey Alpha Lima Lima. So it took me a long time to work that one out, but yeah, hopefully it should be fine. This first flight here is about 278 nautical miles. We've got 3 passengers for it, and our second flight is going to be from Sepinggan to Kuching Airport. Kuching? Or as I call it, Kuching! I mean, it is, right? Basically. Where are you? Where are you? You should be like you're an international airport. You should be it's definitely not you. Don't know, I've forgotten where it is. Is it further up here? I don't think so. I feel like it's further across. There it is. WB, Whiskey Bravo, Golf, Golf. And then from there, we will then make our way across to Singapore. So today, the theme is live weather, and as you can see, it's not looking very nice. Not looking very nice at all. The winds aren't too strong right now, so a little bit, but I'm sure we can cope. Heading of 0.88. Can we really take off? Isn't that a tailwind then? Surely we can't take off from there. I don't know. Also, I'm not taking off from the runway. Where did I start last time? Do you know what? Probably over here. I think we'll set that as my departure. Thank you. There we go. Okay, this is looking like a more accurate flight plan. So the flight plan today, we are taking approach of RNAV. We'll go this way around and in. 3-hour flight. 373 nautical miles. Really? Why so many? Why so many? Or is that this route is 373? I think it is. This one's 300 nautical miles, 2.5 hours. That's fine. At least the first half of our flight. And we are using real-time weather, like I said, with real-time time for the first time. I'm up quite early in the morning. Well, not that early actually, but just to get this right, it's about 8:30 in the morning where I am in the UK. So here we are. I think we're ready to go. Let's do it. That's not live weather. That is not live weather at all. How hard is it? Come on, man. Come on. Tell you what, looks like we're gonna have to close and have another go at this. I tend to find that seems to be the best way to do it, so let's give it another go. Well, apparently this is the weather. I don't really believe it. I had to restart the game. It's not quite clear skies, because we can see a few clouds, especially over that way, so I think it's working. Why would we need pushback, buddy? Oh, okay, to get onto there. It makes sense. Alright, anyway, it's time to do our little startup routine. I will see you once I've started up the aircraft, since you've maybe seen it before already. Alright, so everything is now on. It is weird knowing that we're going to be flying into a storm, essentially. Are we? No, that's behind us. We're going the other way. Whew, I think we're okay. I think we've just avoided a storm. We'll have to take off soon, though. Outside air temperature is 32 degrees. That's whopping. In fact, it even says here at the side, if I'm not mistaken, if it's above 30 degrees, you've got to consult the manual. Maybe that's a different plane I'm thinking of. Maybe it's up here. Hello? Do you say something about that? Maybe not. I must be thinking of a different aircraft. Sorry. Okay then, let's ignore that. Let's look at taxi. Do we need landing lights and stuff? I don't think we need anything more than the beacon. Guess we'll throw on taxi lights. Don't know, strobe navigation once we get there. Okay, pushback time. Hello buddy, I'm not going to decapitate you just yet. I'm actually going to need your assistance, sorry. Let me just get my bearings. We're going to need you to push us back so that we go that way. Yeah, push us back that way so we're facing that way. Yes, that's what I want about. I thought that was an aircraft moving. I haven't got any aircraft set to move. I do want to add that soon if possible, but I'm not too sure how much lag that's going to create. Maybe if we're going to a couple of very quiet airports, that might be a good idea. There we go. Altimeter set. Pressure is very low. Because there is a storm inbound. Maybe that's what that means? I don't know. I'm acting like I know things about weather. I don't know, Jack. Seriously. Okay. Let's say goodbye to the checklist for just a moment. And say hello, ATC. Sorry, ground services. Request, no, go back. Run 1. Ground services. You. Oh, more lightning. Okay, stop it. Request I-5. No, I don't care. Ground services. Go back. Why? What's one of you? Ground services. On 1... Which one have I done? I did 118 last time, right? Okay. Let's tune ground 118 this time. Ground services. I don't know. Alright, fine. No pushback then. We will decapitate you out of spite. Yeah. Alright, let me just bring up FSEconomy first. Just get the flight all set. Just want to make sure I've got it set up on FSEconomy itself, the plane. Yeah, we've got Victor Hotel, Juliet Foxtrot uniform. Very good. Start the flight. Bouncy, bouncy. Alright, lovely. Sorted. And I've got to make sure we get a nice clean decapitation here. Let's release the parking brake. I want this man dead. That's it. There it is. Let's not damage the aircraft. There we go. Nice and clean. Perfect. That's what you get for not cooperating. I will kill your workers. Spiteful much. Alright, let's go take off. We're taking off at runway 21. So we'll be heading down that way into... No, we shouldn't be, actually. That's all wrong. The wind's coming from this way. I think, actually... If our map sure takes a while. We'll come up here. We should be taking off this way, at least. It's a crosswind. Runway 13. Yeah. I guess what we'll do. Should have really planned this out. It doesn't look like I can actually go this way, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm only a little Cessna. Go easy on me. So given the extremely high temperature, 32 degrees, I think it might be worth leaning the mixture ever so slightly just to maximise performance. We're not very high above the ground, but at a higher temperature, I believe it should have some effect. We'll conduct a little test once we get onto the runway. By the way, I'm going way too fast, so it's definitely not okay. Okay. Go ahead and throw on our lights, why not? Onto the runway we go. Really not following any sort of lines here. But it's fine. Yeah, we'll conduct a little RPM test. Because I'm curious to know what difference it's going to make. 32 degrees, that's quite a bit. Mind you, once we get to the Middle East, I imagine that's going to be even hotter. Eesh. Anyway, that's. I guess all the temperatures are going to be like that from now on. Depends when we fly. We might do some early morning flights. Our second flight today is going to be pretty much at night, actually. I mean, by the time we arrive, the sun will be setting, as it's already coming up to 4 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, it has gone 4 already. Alright, let's line her up. That's interesting. I guess this is mainly for bigger aircraft, isn't it? Alright, so, like this, without leaning our mixture. Really, yeah. Sorry. I don't know what happened there. Something just dropped. 2230. think we'll just bring it in at a 90% mixture. Sounds good to me. Alright, double check FSEconomy. Very good. Double check our... stay away from that in case something goes horribly wrong. Let's go checklist. Run up. Stuff. Everything's set. We do need to set... let's actually go through it. Doors, flight controls free and correct. Good. Mixture rich. Well, we're not quite going by that. Sorry, should we go through this in order? Fuel quantity... don't know. Set barometer again. Fuel selector both. Yep, still both. Move against autopilot. Speaking of, let's have the flight director on. Let's have the heading bug set. Let's also set our altitude. I think it wants us to set that sort of stuff, right? Elevator trim set for takeoff. That's a bit better. 8,000. Not minus 6,000. No. Where to go? Flight level. I'm going to set this now because I realise that's something I can actually do. About 70 knots. So I'll go 72 knots. Sounds lovely. Okay. Looks fine to me. Enunciators, RPM, adjust 1000, 1200. Before takeoff. Com frequency set, nav frequency set. We're not using com still. Do need to bring that in soon. CDI soft key, select nav source. Yep, we've got GPS set for the autopilot. We don't need flaps. We can't use that. Cabin windows locked. Yeah, we can't open them. I've tried, but we can't. Normal takeoff. Alright, you know it. You know how it goes. We know the drill from here. We're just going to go ahead and take off. So, release the parking brake. Throttle up. There we go. Interesting. I think it's a 2,300 RPM, which we're not quite. We're almost hitting. There we go. Alright. Rotate. We're at over 55 knots. There we go. Lovely. I keep thinking, oh, landing gear and such. No, we don't need to worry about any of that. Let's keep going till we get about 500. A little bit higher. Then we want to start making our right turn. We want to get onto the GPS line. Going a little bit slow. Alright, let's see if we can bring up that airspeed. It's very hot. It really doesn't sound like the engines are... Actually, that sounded worse. Bring it around. We are going very slow. 55 knots is far too slow. We're not too far off a stall. Don't quite know what the stall speed is. I reckon it's probably close to 50. Try and hold a nice steady turn if possible. We are still climbing. I still don't trust the GPS. So I'm going to add some trim. Make it a little bit easier. There we go. Look at that. On that GPS line quite well here. Very nice. So when we set up the GPS, it'll be absolutely fine. Let's just, yeah, do the heading bug again. We're now approaching 70 knots. Trim down a bit. And probably go ahead. Yeah, we need that trimmed down a little bit more. There we go, that should be about right. Lovely, look at this. And if we engage autopilot, we switch it to nav. Flight level clear, yeah. Engage autopilot, we're pretty much on the money already. So we need to keep an eye on the RPM. 2,420. 2,420. Wow, look at the view. Oh wow, actually they've done, this might be the best one, yeah. It'd be nice if we had more interesting weather. See it in a different light, but this is actually really cool. Oh, hello. Oh, okay, that's fine. can't remember what it's called, but that's like the medium marker. So if we were coming into land, that would be, I don't know, means we're close. You're on short final or something. I don't know. I don't know my terminology. I have to see more cars. I'm gonna have to up the number of cars, I think, on the road. Yeah, that's something to add. Okay, so we are going to be... oh wow. So our next waypoint is Kawas, which is 157 nautical miles. Quite far out. The actual journey itself is 278 nautical miles, so that is most of our journey, or the largest portion of our journey. We can see the RPM starting to dip already. Bring it back ever so slightly, there we go. Just adjust it as we go for best climb rate. We're climbing at a good rate, over 500 feet a minute. Pretty good. Well, we are getting kind of close to our target altitude of 8,000 feet. We're only 1,500 off. Just crossed over a few tiny little baby islands. Look, there's loads of these little islands around. I would love to go island hopping somewhere like this. The Philippines is another country that's apparently quite good for that. It does look like it would be pretty fun. And yeah, it looks like the live weather, I was like, oh no, it's all clear, but then if you look closely over here, you can actually see some cloud formations there. So I do think this is relatively accurate enough, we'll say. Give it the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, it's going to be a fairly clear flight for us, the first leg of this journey. But by the time we get there, the sun will probably be close to setting, as it is going to be about a 2-hour stint. So yeah, I will see you when we get closer. Welcome back. We are now making our final, not our final approach, we'll run about, but we are making the final stages in preparation for landing. You can actually see the airport over there. We currently have an altitude of 2,500 feet. We've got this lovely, lovely course here set. Once we make the turn in under 30 seconds, I'll start reducing our altitude again. Oh, here we go. We got some scenery over to the right here. It's a shame it only loads in so far. Really. Oh, we're probably off course a little bit. Duh, that's what crashed it last time, using the VFR map for some reason. Oh well, that's alright. Let's go ahead and bring the map right in here. Yeah, this is good. So I was just having a look at the chart of the airport. Basically, what we'll land will hopefully get out on exit Charlie, and there's basically just this part of the building here looks like is where the ramps are. So that's what we're going to do. God, I've got to admit, if there's any time to make a nice slow descent, it is when it's night. Do you get some fantastic lighting? Steady does it. We get that second white light. Better to have white lights. If it's red, you're gonna be dead. Or you're gonna be dead, whatever. Okay. That's interesting. Those houses appear to be going into the ground there. That's very interesting. Don't think it knows what it's doing. Still, it looks really cool. All of this. I mean, this isn't even a big city or anything. This is not a big city at all. Okay, so our target exit is probably, we're not going to make that one there. I think the one after it is probably what we're going to do. Alright, very nice. We look good. We're looking good. Wind's dropped a little bit more. Okay, that should be fine. Let's keep it descending. Are we going a little bit slow? Does it feel? Have I made the simulation speed a bit too slow? Nope, let's reset that. I think this is about right. 22, 23, 24. It is a bit slow, actually. This is too slow. Not again. Have I done it again? Gone ahead and blown it. I think so. I need to stop doing that, you know. I have to speed up the simulation because, you know, I don't have all day to record. These flights are quite lengthy. Anyway, well, we made it. We need to wait for the next exit. We'll follow the blue lights. And yeah, we'll quickly park up, load up, and then it's off to part 2, actually. Probably gonna... yeah, I'll see you again, actually, once I am back on the runway. Alright, welcome back. We are ready to go here, and you may notice, if you're very observant, that the time is actually before we left. I guess if we go by the time we originally would have got here, if it hadn't crashed, then this would be about the right time. It's only about 25 minutes before we arrived in actual time, I suppose. But that's okay. We're going to do nice little night takeoff. We should arrive at our destination at around 10 PM, somewhere between 10 or 11, I reckon. We've got quite a nice route planned, pretty straightforward. So we will take off out of here. And then, yeah, as you see, navigate our way across here. We just continue going northwest until we reach Kuching Airport. Well, here we are approaching our destination, and it has been stormy the entire way. It got incredibly windy over some more mountainous region, but now we're away from that. We're on the northern coastline of the island that we're on, and as you can see, we are approaching Kuching Airport, whatever it is. We're also approaching 2,500 feet. We want to bring down the airspeed ever so slightly. So yeah. Hopefully, though, it's not going to be a bumpy landing due to the... Oh, okay, the airspeed has really gone up. That said... Oh, thank you. That said, it is good to see it's a headwind. No, in fact, it's 0. I thought it was 8. That's just straight up 0. What? Okay, this could be a very calm landing. We must be in the right part of the storm to be getting very few winds. Maybe we're in the eye of it. I don't know. But anyway, let's... see how it goes when we get a little bit closer. Okay, we are now... Well, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're at 2,500 feet. Once we cross this checkpoint here, which is a mere 5 nautical miles away, I think we then want to switch over to autopilot. There's still plenty of lightning around, I can tell you that. Still plenty of lightning. And some of it's getting very close to the plane. Very close indeed. But it's nice, we got a pretty calm landing, so that is good. That is good. Mixture control is fully in. We probably want to think about taxi lights, landing lights as well. So correct me if I'm wrong, do we only need the beacon on for starting the engine? As said, the beacon appears to be on. That's the beacon, correct? Or is that navigational strobe light? To be honest, I turned all the lights on, off mid-flight just to test it out, and it didn't seem to make a difference. Turn these on. Everything's still pretty well lit. I don't know. Turn on, turn on. Oh! I've had this the wrong way round. Wow, so if I do this, we're dead in the water. Alright, beacon, nav, strobe. Why have I got my taxi? Have I had my taxi light on? If you were looking at a little montage and you know anything about flying, you'd be like, why has he got his, Because I was thinking that light off the side there, well, that would be our landing light. Then we have taxi light as well. Right, wrong one. Yeah, there's our taxi light that points to the ground. Oops. Oh well. At least now we know. Okay, I'm definitely having problems with the internet because we've got no wind. Oh, there we go. It should be back. Might get a sudden gust. We're also a little bit off course, in case you can't tell. I don't particularly like this angle, thank you very much, so we're going to go ahead and pull back a little bit. No, that's not quite... We've got a white light there, which means we've got two actually, so we really need to start a descent, if I'm not mistaken. Probably a little bit quicker than this. Not too quick, not too. This is okay. Yeah, stormy weather indeed. No surprise, it is a tropical environment, I suppose you could say. But yeah, right. Descend a little bit quicker. Ooh. It's a shame it's all pixely. This for me, anyway. It's I guess that's what happens if you don't use Ultra. Might be quiet autopilot. There always seems to be a fine line between 350, a descent rate of 350, and a descent rate of 750. It doesn't really seem to hold in between very well. So I'm just really trimming it downwards. So 350 is pretty nice. We get 400. Be fairly happy. We'll not bring out flaps just yet. I'm kind of liking the airspeed. It's getting us in a little bit quicker. While we still have decent weather, just in case it changes. It flashed no wind data there again for a moment. Obviously I'm still having internet problems, which is the bad thing about that. Is if I try and finish my flight, I might be unable to. Which obviously would suck. So 6 minutes, 6 nautical miles, we reckon we're 3.5 minutes, so this descent rate is just fine. Yeah, that's 400 feet. The altitude of the airport itself, in fact we need to descend a little bit quicker, not much, 500. So it just seems to go miles one direction and then that's it. Let's actually take a look at Kuching Airport, or Kuching. That's what we're calling it. Kuching Airport. 88 feet. Ooh, that was a pretty nice view of the landscape. Actually, I just realised there is a lot of buildings, but they're all very, very dark. That's weird. Is that accurate? I don't know. I'm not so sure myself. Let's pull off the throttle a little bit more. Minus 650. Yeah, that's good right now. In fact, let's pull it right off, but hold that minus 650. Minus 600 is just about right. Because we want to start killing our airspeed. So I'm going to pull it back. So we're not creating quite enough lift at this speed. There we go. I want to bring the flaps out in a moment. Oopsies. I do have this configured all wrong. I have to bend my right arm around the left side of the joystick I have here. Alright, one set of flaps. Still too high. And we'll go for a second set of flaps now. Once again, we're just going to go for 2. We've basically got no winds that we're battling here. Essentially calm. This is the calmest I think I've actually landed in the simulator, so expectations, right? Expectations. Right, we are going to need to keep the altitude probably at that 3, those 3 lights, because if you have a look, here, you can see some buildings. Lots of buildings. Oops. Pretty awesome. Okay, we need to concentrate. Just need to keep my altitude high enough. Ah, go away! Just sort yourself out, internet. Seriously, I don't have time for your nonsense. Anyway, our airspeed is pretty good. Oh my gosh, that was... we're actually gonna... We're going full flaps, baby. We're going full flaps. Keep that altitude... Oh! Okay, that wasn't me crashing, good. We are also coming in at a normal speed today. This time, as opposed to the earlier flight. So we are massively over, but we kind of have to be. Okay, successfully connected. You're lying, aren't you? I know you. I know what you're like. Okay, let's sort of bring her right down. Let it do it the way it wants to do it. That's fine. Very good. Very good. Oh, that was not so good. Come on, let's get that centre line, shall we? Shall we get that centre line today? Let's also try and be steady about it. There we go. Right. Ooh. Not the most even landing. I think we touched down on our... Oh, I see a way off. I'm going. See ya. Yeah, not the most even landing. But a landing nevertheless. Okay, right, where are we going? Off here and to the left. By the looks of it. Bring flaps right up. Break everyone's necks by spinning the plane round. This must be unbearable to watch. I think I've gotten worse at my sort of being steady about this. Yeah, probably have. Interesting, we're at 65 feet here. Elevation is 88 feet, but, you know, small difference. It's not like it's 100 feet off, or 200 or 1,000. Where are we going to park? We've got a few little bits here. I have a feeling it's not going to be that sort of thing. It's never actually for general aviation, is it? Maybe it is. Can't really see either. Oh bloody! I'm gonna end up taking off again. Actually, that's probably the fuel pump. Actually, hey, do you know what? There's some guys there. I think they're for us. Those boys are for us. Yes, this is the general aviation area. I actually found it. Okay. Is that him? Is that for us? Or is that a plane? Oh, there they are. They're over there. Excuse me. Excuse me, gentlemen. I think I saw you. Your silhouettes. There you are. Oh, there he is. Look, look. Which way? That way. Or do you mean this? I'm confused. Do you mean this way? And that. Okay. We did it. So... yeah. I will put my parking brake on once I know I've got internet, because I don't want FSEconomy. I do. Alright, parking brake. Yes! Good. flight successful. So there we go. We covered a lot of ground today. Yeah, and here we are in stormy Malaysia. Very stormy Malaysia. You can bring your arms down now, buddy. Maybe if I switch off the engine, let's bring up the checklist very quickly. Parking, securing. Oh wow, just in time. Avionics plus 1 and 2 off. Engine idle, magnetos cut-off test. I never quite know what that means. Everything off. Oof. Shut up. Everything off. Lights. There we go. There he is, with his little mini lightsaber blades. Do you find that interesting? I wonder why you do that. I don't know. I wonder why. Anyway, we are all secured. That is it for today in terms of flying. Pretty long flights. Very interesting using live weather for the first time. It's still not very reliable because I have a feeling it probably would have been a little bit windier than that. But apparently the wind, it's not programmed right just yet. They really need to work on the weather. I'm on a number of things. Anyway, I think it's time we edit there. We move on to today's food. And since the weather was pretty spicy, tell you what, we better find a meal that matches that. Today we're making beef rendang, once again using recipe-tin-eats.com for the most part, and these are essentially the ingredients after a few preparations take place. But according to another recipe on rasamalaysia.com, you want to dry roast the desiccated coconut into something called kerisik, which looks a bit like that. That really enhances the taste. Okay, moving on to making the actual spice paste for the beef, you need 12 red chilies, lemongrass, garlic, onion, ginger, and galangal, which is similar to ginger with a more medicinal type smell. The first time I've even heard of that ingredient before, and as you see, it looks like ginger at the bottom right. And then you get this rather disgusting looking thing, but it's got a very fresh smell. And yeah, pretty optimistic at this point. You're then going to want to ground up some cardamom pods, just the seeds that is, and then I would go for half a clove, not even a full clove. I think clove is a little bit too overpowering. Alright, so you're going to heat up some oil in a pan and you're going to sear your beef chunks for now. Make sure they're good sized chunks. These might even be a little bit too big, but I wanted them nice and full chunks like that. And just sear them on every side so that they brown up nicely. You'll probably want to do this in a couple of batches as you're going to be using quite a lot of beef. You want to have plenty of leftovers because they actually get even better the next day. Now they're looking nice and brown. Going to go ahead and start taking those out and do the same with our second batch. Next, you're going to want to heat up some oil in a large pan. Now, unfortunately, I only have quite a thin stainless steel one here. You want to see if you can get yourself a nice heavy one. That's actually better, gives it a more even cook. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and put the paste in the pan once the oil is nice and hot. So once we're happy that our paste is nice and hot, we're going to want to start adding all the other ingredients. We're going to begin by adding some black pepper, then the kaffir leaves, as well as a stick of lemongrass. Make sure you smash that lemongrass as well to really release the flavours. You want to put in part of a stick of cinnamon, and then of course put your beef in. Then 2 teaspoons of tamarind paste, something else I have never used before in my life. Don't really know much about it, other than it's a very tarry looking substance. Then we're going to go ahead and add in some coconut milk. Of course, this has congealed, so it's mostly water with the thick bits of cream. I'm going to go ahead and scoop some of that out. Really give it a good mix until it turns a nice light brown colour. But we're not done adding ingredients. There's still plenty more ingredients to put in here. So we're going to go ahead and add in the kerisik. That's the desiccated coconut that's been dry roasted. And then a tablespoon of sugar. Now, you apparently supposed to use brown sugar, not really massively necessary. Not brown sugar, palm sugar actually, but I couldn't be bothered to go ahead and try and buy that. Anyway, you've got 3 star anise as well as a dash of salt as well in there too. The star anise really give it a very rich, distinct flavour. And I'm going to go ahead and scoop some more of that coconut cream out to give it a creamier taste to offset some of the hotter flavours in this mix here. Give that a really good stir, and you're then going to want to put a lid on that and let it stew probably for at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours with the lid on. You don't want to reduce it yet. It should be a nice bubbling liquid like this. Lid goes on, forget about it for a while. So, ages later, you're going to go in and give it the occasional mix just to make sure everything's breaking up, maybe every half an hour or so. See how it's going. You can see that smashed lemongrass has been really smashed up. The flavours will have been released into the curry. Alright, so here it is a couple of hours later. Can't really see because it is steamy. It has started to thicken up a little bit despite the lid being on. You're then going to want to cook it for about half an hour, 45 minutes with the lid off to reduce it to a much thicker paste like so. Very difficult to see there, but it is smelling strong and it's looking good. That beef should be fall apart. Mine wasn't quite fall apart, but it was pretty close, but I was hungry anyway. Now if I could have added a little bit more water, allow it to reduce a little bit more, but looking at that, it doesn't look amazing, I realise, but it tastes amazing. Just serve this on a bed of rice and it is absolute heaven. Absolute heaven. If I maybe did ever so slightly smaller chunks, then it might have been that fall apart. Some chunks were actually fall apart, but mine wasn't quite. It was still, the taste was phenomenal though. I highly recommend it, although it is a very long cooking process. Perhaps if you find a restaurant that serves it, it may not be quite the same as this, but it will still be damn good. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I seriously cannot recommend that beef rendang enough. You've got to try it at least once, you know. The flavour is just so intense. Anyway, the next video is probably going to be in 2 weeks' time. I don't know if I'm going to do this every 2 or 3 weeks now, to be honest. But yeah, the journey will continue at some point, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you join me next time because it's off to Singapore.